but it's certainly an eye opener. So I would like everybody to do their learning style, and then your learning style might in fact change as you get older. So even if you did it before, you might, as you get more experiences, you might have different ways of learning. And also I would like you to do, most importantly, your teaching style, because you also think you know yourself as a teacher, right? And you probably know yourself well if you have been doing the reflection that you need to do. But it will be interesting to see, following an inventory, a tried and tested inventory, how you shape up. Because then it will allow you to see why you do some of the things that you do, right? And then what is very interesting for me is that when people teach, do the teaching style, they all want to be the facilitator, all right? And then they discover that they're not really the facilitator, they're the delegator. Or so it's interesting to see how people will shape. So that will be your major homework over the next couple of weeks. You see the little bit of stuff I'm giving you to do, and how interesting it is, and the personal relevance.
It's interesting, but not
personal relevance. All right. Okay.
Is there a tool for the teacher style?
Yeah. We're going to come to that.
Okay.
Some people very previous. All right, let's see what we have here. So we're learning theories, how people learn. All right, I will go through this. You all know all of this already.
Should you assume?
We still like to hear it.
I just say that to say I'll be going through very quickly.
Oh.
But this will be online. I put it up on stuff. And it's a PowerPoint, so it means that there's a lot more reading behind it. Yes. So this is just a simple thing that has been extracted.
Thank you for
And if you have any,
sharing this slide.
yeah, we share slides because we didn't create all of this. We got it from somewhere. Right. Okay. So you know of the work of Pavlov. Everybody knows Pavlov. And because why are you watching it?
because you assume that you know an educational field.
No, that's right.
Oh, sorry. I'm IT and then.
But I'm speaking to you. Because what?
The psychology.
This is unfamiliar for you. Nico, what is your?
I don't have a psych background.
Oh. No, you don't have this. Oh, you don't have an education.
No,
All right. Well, you have a learning background. You've learned things before. Right? Once you've learned things before. Right, but well, so I wouldn't start by saying you know. There are a number of theoretical conceptions of learning. We have behaviorism, right, which sort of relates or you learn certain behaviors based on stimulus of some sort. So we will look at that. We have classical conditioning based on the work of Pavlov. Alright, and what Pavlov did, he set out to measure the degree to which dogs salivate everything. But before I go, I must say, so we have behaviorism, then we have cognitivism, and then we have constructivism. And for people like Ambika, she might say constructionism. Alright, so you're familiar with that? Alright, so that's it. Constructivism and constructionism not very different in my eyes, but constructionism, that's what you IT people, the US, you IT people tend to use. We tend to use constructivism, we see that, But the prevailing theory in the 90s and so on was principally behaviorism, right? With proponents like Pavlov, and he did this classical experiment from which we got the concept of classical conditioning. And he set out to measure the degree to which dogs salivated while eating. You train a dog and gave them a measured amount of food, so that he salivated. You know, when dogs know that the food is coming, they get all excited and salivate. Pablo knows that the dog salivated at the sight of food or the individual who brought the food. And sometimes you know how your dogs will salivate when they get up and they have to see you. They're not thinking about you know. They say, oh, what you can do for them. Food. So my dogs, for instance, they know I do not bring food. I do not feed the dogs. So when I walk into the yard, if I open the back door, the dogs do come running to the back. If my son or my husband, the only thing that is he who opened the door, either of them open the door. I'm excited.
Wait, I thought my dog loved me.
No, that's not what you can do for them.
This is a very depressing word.
Have you ever looked at the dog shows?
No,
You don't look at them. Then, if you don't have food, right? They're not obeying anything that you yes. Every time they do something good, give them a little thing. You might see it, but the owners, they know the good, but they reward them for everything that they do that is right. That is classical conditioning behavior they are using, right? Based on the work of Pavlov. And you forget that these dogs just like to be on show. It's a treat, whatever the treat is. All right. So he systematically studied this phenomenon. He set up a control situation in which a bell sounded just before the dog was presented with the food. So now you have this association between the ringing of the bell and the appearance of the food. All right? After several appearances of bell and food, so you see the bell, he hears the bell, and then master appears with the food, and of course he salivates. So he starts now, after several times of that, he then rings the bell only. And guess what happened?
Salivation.
Salivation. Because he's anticipated that food is coming. Right? So, what do you think? I always ask the implications for teaching and training.
If I get licks for getting X sums wrong,
You know that I never forget. I had a teacher called Mr. She had a ruler. And every time you get your stuff wrong, but I always hated licks of any kind. So you do the thing right. You make sure you do it right.
the ruler induced fear. As soon as you saw the ruler,
That's why I saw the ruler,
ruler
yes.
induced fear. Because Daisy's laughing, Daisy, I'm telling you, ruler induced fear.
It didn't work. It did, yes.
In the primary
But it
school, you
didn't-
see the ruler on the table, on the teacher desk.
It didn't mean that it would lead to success.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Because fear was the thing that
The
dad was used
motivator.
and my teachers used that as well.
But an avoidance.
I remember because to this day I still have problems spelling because I'm dyslexic.
Right.
Back then nobody knew the term dyslexic.
Yeah. Many are trying to suffer from that.
Yeah.
There was one exam I got 94 strokes because I got all my words wrong except two. You understand? And that kind of nonsense.
That's abuse.
Exactly. But that was accepted as teaching styles of behaviors.
Yes,
That's where I found that
yes.
it's-
Because
I
they
don't
only knew
believe
one
it.
thing. Right?
Sorry.
Yeah, so in the 20th century, they used the latter 20th century, they used more positive influences. So the infants started to have stars, right? And they were stars. And that's the same way they use marks. Marks are the same.
Effect.
Yeah.
Marks are scars.
Yes, marks are your
Sending
stars.
out badges.
I was just asking about badges.
Yes, it's like that.
You don't need no stinking badges.
Alright, so that was Pablo was the one with the dog. Right? And his was classical conditioning. Operant condition, this is where you with Skinner. Yes, Skinner. Skinner had a box. And he placed the hungry rat in a box. So the rat is running around in the box, exploring his environment. And he touches a bar and is rewarded with a food pellet.
Yes.
Alright? Skinner chose the term operant conditioning to stress that an organism operates on the environment when it learns. Alright, so that is it. So he learned very quickly that if he presses this thing, or if he touches this thing, he will get a pellet of food. And that is operant. By arranging conditions and supplying reinforcement, right, in determined ways, Skinner succeeded in shaping the behavior of rats and pigeons in remarkable ways. But they had time, and he had time to work on these rats and everything.
Yeah.
I've been considering the way, we always complain that the students appear in our classroom and everything is how much marks or that coming on the exam.
Yeah.
Is that an example of conditioning?
Yeah.
Where they have been conditioned that this
Pay
information.
attention to that.
Very good
Because and nothing that is not tested is of value.
Yeah.
So therefore we need to be a little more understanding because through primary school and
No,
all this
you know, you have to be them out of that.
Why we understand
No. I mean there was
When you're fighting
there were
against some
years
good
of conditioning.
yeah.
No, what you're saying is that you could appreciate the position.
Yes, there were
Why
years
they
of
do that.
conditioning that
Yeah, it's
went
hard.
into producing that.
Yeah, but I would not use it as an excuse.
I agree.
No,
And what you can do is to explain to them why it is they behave like that and why that is not acceptable behavior. Because you are trying to get them to develop the competencies. It's not just about the marks,
Yes.
right? And it's not about learning only the thing that is coming, because to learn that thing that is coming, they have to learn all this thing around there, or else it would not make sense to them eventually. That's why they forget it, because that is the upside of that, or the downside of that. When you don't know what it is and why it is, and you can't work it out, you forget it very quickly.
So then good research is to understand from our end what we need to do to
So you will be part of the
reverse.
research team, all right?
Because
I
part
get
of
it.
what you have to do is because what you have is a very instrumental view of education from primary all the way up. So that when we talk about lifelong learning in COSTAATT and that learning is a valued end in itself, to love learning is as a teacher you have to create opportunities where they just enjoy learning. And it is not assessed. And it is not marked. And they're just happy to be in class because you open their eyes.
So
to
there will be examples of these because you will be getting exercises that will not be marked.
Excellent.
It will be for your own edification
And enjoyment.
and enjoyment.
Right.
Right.
Thank you so much.
But you know, sometimes when you try that, they don't do those
What is
exercises.
it there? This is you.
Well, right, okay.
Okay.
Because it is
So listen,
conditioned.
I'm a big believer that that's one of the things we lost in the education system.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
used to love to go to be in school. We used to love our teacher. We used to love what the teacher do. We love primary school, etc. And we beaten fun out of
We did that on by C. By the end of C.
Yes, it's
Did
that
that
one.
one.
So
Yeah.
you stop
You know how long I love Dr.
learning.
Gift say that? Because he was there looking at his primary school journal. He wondered, what happened to them?
Yeah.
It's burnt out.
They burnt out.
By the time
Huge bag that's
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
wheel, you have to wheel the
Yeah.
bag, you know.
Exactly.
It's a
And
little
they have to
heavy.
take all of the textbooks every day to school.
Yes,
It's
I
terrible.
saw for Father carrying this. I said, what is that they're carrying about? The daughter's school bag. You see this thing? The daughter can hardly live on this thing.
Right, so you have to remediate that at this level. Because that's
Yes.
all they've known. For almost 17 years, that's all they've known.
Well, I am glad, I'm hoping that you write all of this down in your reflections. The kind of things that you have decided that you will do based on a reviving of this information. Right. All right, so operant conditioning and reinforcement. and the implications for teachers, reward and reinforcement. But one of the things, I think one of our things that we are understanding now is that we can reinforce in a negative way or reinforce in a positive way. And at least in the 21st century, we opt for the more positive approach to reinforcement. Then you have people like Albert Bandura. Oh, I didn't change his hair because he died last year. And it's about observed behavior, and he worked on children. He looked at children and adults. He concluded that it takes place when one person observes and then imitates behaviors of others, and found that children tended to imitate the adults, whatever they saw them do. And that is why, in fact, this is the beginning of social learning theory, where what you observe people do, and that is why he talks about modeling the behavior. You model the behaviors that you would like your students to follow. So it's not good enough to just tell your students what to do, and when to do it, and how to do it. You show them, you model the behavior. And he had a whole long thing. I think I have it in one of the thing. Oh, I have it here too. So it had this is one of his experiments. He had a child seated at a table, encouraged to play with the toy. The model sat nearby and either played quietly with Tinker Toys for a period of time, would it Tinker Toys for a minute, and played aggressively with an inflatable clown doll for several minutes. Following one or other of these, each child allowed to become engrossed with an attractive toy. Each child then told he or she could play with the toy no longer, a condition thought to induce mild frustration. But you know, when you take away a toy from a child, what happens? Each child then led to another room with a variety of toys, including those which they played with before. Children who did not observe a model, as well as those who observed a non-aggressive model, displayed little imitative aggression. Right? By contrast, children exposed to aggressive behaviors engage in considerably more aggressive behavior in response to the clown doll. And so we're taking the clown doll and bashing them and so on. That is what they did as soon as they saw the clown doll again. So the behaviors become ingrained, and a lot of people talk about what children see on television and how that impacts on their approach to their siblings and peers and so on. But where do they learn things like biting each other? Or some of them being always aggressive, right? If you find a child being very aggressive and always ready to fight, you have to look at what goes on at home. What are they seeing at home, right? And so if there's always quarrel and rancor and thing at home, that child there would display very aggressive behavior. So this is Bandura, and this is the forerunner of social learning theory. We always quote Bandura for that. Behavioral theory emphasizes the ways external stimuli influence learning. And what that allows us to do then is to consider external rewards and incentives, right? Creation of classroom. So how this impacts our teaching? Consideration being given to external rewards and incentives. Although to tell you the truth, I do have a problem with this. Because this is my UB experience. Every time they wanted students to fill out a questionnaire, you have a laptop or something, anything. And I found that they were just encouraging bad behavior because that was something that was for their good. So the idea of their good was never in play. It's always, I would do it because I could get a laptop, right? So it's reinforcing a kind of behavior that is, that undermines what you're trying to teach them in their classes and so on. But everybody used to look at me funny and they say, share game. That's what they do, share game. I come back with some.
But Dr. Henry, the same behavioral theory is used in the workplace.
Of course, everywhere.
And that is one of the primary motivators.
Yes, and some people only work when you see
When there is
when
there's
they're
a reward.
yeah. Well, I'll ask Dr. Paul about it.
If you look at this,
I had
but if you look at this training, how many people applied? We know how much, what's our faculty count?
400 and, which is 169 full-time and maybe down to 300 full part-time.
Part-time.
So let's look at the 169 full-time. We have 20, how much?
Yeah.
18 applicants.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Including
Yeah.
three executives.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
we have 15 applicants
So
out of
imagine-
169.
Well, I
Yeah.
found that very instructive, but I predicted for her that I would know who would be this.
Yeah, I
But I'm
say
sure
so.
because I just
Did your predictions come true?
And my predictions are that if it's
Was it?
one,
Was it correct?
I would, of course,
Yeah.
I know the faculty. I knew who would be here.
Yeah.
We're writing the name
It's
down.
very disturbing, but
Yeah, we said we know who gonna come.
Behaviors.
Because remember, my thing is, if you understand what's right,
Yes.
we are trying to build a great
Yeah.
of people who will be able to go out and train the faculty.
Yeah.
I knew who would be here.
Them.
Because I
Them.
know, ask me who would turn up.
Yeah.
I laughed and I told people, I said, when I have a workshop, I could close my eyes and say, so, I know that I'll get the
As you
response
said
in the
before.
first week. Because I know the faculty were very passionate
Yeah.
about
yeah.
teaching, learning,
Yeah, they're totally good at
and
it.
I see
But
that.
I'm just concerned that when we start to
All the
implement
two
changes, that it certain aspects will have to become mandatory
Right.
because
Yeah.
Yes,
if we're to
absolutely.
implement things, people have to all be on the
We
same
cannot get
page.
to excellence with a, well, we would like, if you would like to join us,
Yeah.
please.
Well, the thing about it, I think that what is good here is that we see for sure
Mhm.
where our core
Comes
for that excellence thrust
Comes
is,
from.
yes, what the core is. So we have no doubt of it. But I must say that some people,
Mhm.
there are about 3 or 4,
Mhm.
did come to explain why they are not here. And,
Today
and those
or-
didn't apply. Yes.
Today or not here.
Generally,
Um,
apply for the course.
I'm interested, but I can't come.
No, well, there were,
But you're still
no,
talking about
those
160
4, well, one of them,
20.
and I don't know how many would have, one of them was an older thing, and what she said, she was given an opportunity to the younger ones,
Okay.
right? However, if we run it in the future, she would come.
Okay.
The 3 others claim the pressure of work. And to some extent, I know it applies to all of us, but for those 3 in particular, yes, I would give them a blight
Dr.
this
Paul?
time.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
I am not that cynical yet.
I am here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am here.
but some people have other experiences. Now, did we say that experience is an important part of it? Some people have different experiences, so they may be more cynical than I am at the moment. Now, I may grow to be as cynical as that eventually.
Why?
But
Why?
right
we
now-
are not cynical. We are.
Alright.
This is what I'm saying.
Why is that what
When-
this is disturbing me?
When, because
I
it's
think it was the amount, that was the
when
color.
our students tell us that they have work responsibilities, and
Yeah,
that's why they can't,
yes, yeah.
and that's why
That's
they
what I'm
can't
reason.
finish the assignment. What it is you tell me?
That
Yes,
you chose
that's
to be,
that
you
you
chose to
chose
be
to
here.
And so I'm saying to you that we expect our
I agree.
students
I agree.
to successfully manage work in the interest of their education, and I'm going back to modeling behavior.
Oh, yes, okay.
So if we want to model behavior, and we believe it is important to be excellent in teaching, we must manage work and
You better start writing the paper that you will be explicating on, expatiating on. You
Just
know,
before.
for the-
okay.
All right. So, okay. So that being said, bring it back home. Let us consider external rewards and incentives. But as I say, I will downplay that. Well, no, we don't have any, except that you will be sharing.
Also, I just want to ask one other thing. It also seems like only really city campus is represented. What happened to the South faculty?
JC, speak up. I don't think that
Generally, you do it. Oh.
What's you are the student that derails?
Sorry. Sorry, back to the focus. Sorry.
We consider rewards and incentives.
We will put that below. Creation of classroom structures that guide. So how your classrooms are constructed to facilitate the behaviors that you desire. For instance, you might be, in terms of your preparedness, and you demonstrate your preparedness, you're always there on time. So you are justified in telling your students, in this class, this is what our expectation is, and so on. And so you create a classroom that, in which you get the behaviors that you desire, all right? And the actions of learners. Right? You might want to use the rewards to stimulate, but I feel that it's important to allow learners to get enjoyment from the learning itself. Now, if we have boring calculus, this is one thing I always had a little problem with. This is a UE thing, where a student doesn't turn up in your class, let's say for the whole semester, right? And he writes your exam. And he passes your exam with an E, and you don't want to give him the E. That is not the student's problem, that is your problem, right? Why are you insisting that I come to your class when I can do clearly everything outside of your class and get an E in your poorly written exam, right? I don't need to come here, and then some people, one of the things, because people always complain, lecturers like to complain about students not coming to their class. And when you look at their class, it is as boring as they come. Why must I sit down and be punished? I could go in the library and do the work. Because I have known lecturers to whose classes the students ran, they clamored for his classes, right? Because the classes, and imagine some Caribbean civilization, you know, that could be boring if you simply stand up and expatiate, right? So you would wonder, why would students, and this is one of the biggest classes they have, 1,700 students a semester. All of us, 400 at a time, 400 here, or 800, 400 in one amphitheater, and the other 400 in the. So I was in my office one day, and I see, it was about 5 o'clock, and I saw all these students running across the lawn. Now they came from the lecture theater that behind my office. And I wondered where they were going, because I don't want to know that there's a fire taking place and I am sitting down there. So I came out to find out what's happening. The multimedia not working, so they're going down to LRC for the lecture because they dare not miss this lecture. They don't want to miss this lecture. They have to be a part of the lecture. Well, you hear students running down lecture. The normal reaction is, if the thing is not working, we get a time to lie. We going down by the bar or whatever. They have a bar, UE bar or whatever. They will go there. These who are not doing that, they're going down to LRC. So I have to find out what was happening at LRC. So there was this lecturer. He was really excellent. But he didn't become excellent overnight or without effort. Right? He was mandated to bring the course under control because the failure rate in that course was like 70%. And if 1,700 people sit in that course and 70% failure, you know how high the failure is. So his mandate was to get the course under control. Of course, there's a reason why it failed too, because there were 13 lecturers in the course.
13?
13, one for each topic.
Oh my
goodness. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. Somebody remember that? You remember that?
I remember that.
Oh, you remember? Okay. That is what it was. Right? So, who is surprised that you had, you know, this high in failure rate? And I remember when he was preparing to that, he would come to the IDU, question me. I got well interrogated about students and their learning styles and the blah, blah, blah. Right? He went to open campus to find out the equipment they use. He got some people with the technology. Alright, so sometime after I looked at his course outline, because the course outline had come through IBU. And I mean, I saw substantial things in there. The students had to do a book report. They had one exam at the end that was some percentage, but the book report was significant. They had a personal something, I can't remember what he used to call it. And so it was not a course where they didn't have things to do. They had stuff to do. They enjoyed doing it. And above all, they did not want to leave the class when they were finished with the course. So, you know what they did? They created a club. But the only people who could go join the club had to be those who finished the course. And you know what the pass mark in that course was? After he started, it was 90%. Wow. If you didn't pass the course because you didn't want to pass the course, so it went from 30 to 90. So I don't want anybody to tell me about the course this or the course that or the thing. Teaching, effective teaching is effective, right? It is something that you can do. Of course, you have to do the research. You have to find out how students. This is one of the things that he was very concerned about. What made them tick. So that is why he gave them these the book report. They had access to online. They did a lot of things online, in addition to the face-to-face, where they, of course, he also dressed the part as a lecturer. I mean, when he swung in there with whatever garb he might come in, it might range from African to whatever. He was half of the reason why they came in is to see what he had on that day, from head to toe. He was that. And I one of the questions I had asked him was, because his classes are usually very large. I said, how do you get them to know that you are ready to start the class? You're ready. Because I wonder if he would shout and ting the table, what he would do. He said, well, I would go in there and stand up. And when I stand up in front of the class, I am ready. He doesn't say I have to say anything. He said, I cannot compete with 400 voices. So he stands up and they know that when they're ready, they will very well sit down and then he will start. He wouldn't attempt to start before they are ready. So he had this way of controlling, it was a very interesting study. Yeah, very interesting study. And I have his teaching philosophy. I could show you that any day. Right, so what you do and how you create the atmosphere you create, and so could generate the behaviors that you want. And he was a very good example of that. But he used to buy them food from time to time. No. He would have some pizzas first, so if they did very well. So he did use some of the, incentive. But, UE students, always food. Food will always get them.
Yeah.
Food will always.
Yes, and the food I'm talking about is pizza, right? All right. So the instructor could create a structured learning environment where clear goals and objectives are emphasized. Self-pacing is employed, so he did a lot of things online. But one of the things he also did is when he gave a time for response for the online. So he had some students, some assistants, I don't know what they call it. But TA kind of, that's not what they call them at uni, but they do the same kind of thing. So the TAs, so they would have a response within 24 hours. So they could all thing online, but it was sure to get a response, right, within that short space of session. Self-pacing is employed to accommodate individual differences in the rate at which people learn. So that is something that you have to know. But you can't do any of these things if you don't explain to your students from the very beginning how you are setting up the class, and what you are going to be doing for students who are visual learners, what you're going to be doing for students who are read, write. So they themselves, if you expect students to take responsibility for their own learning, you have to let them know what you're about, because students just don't like you to dump on them. You come in one day and you're bright and sweaty, and you come in when you have this bright idea, and you jump on the board and you think that you have a group here and a group there, and they will think you're a mad person, and you will be. So you really have to, in your planning, and like this guy, he planned from the semester before. He knew he was going to have this, let's say from 2011, so in 2010, he was working on all the back on the information. Right? Course may be set in distinct modules, mastery of information. So one of the things, when I looked at what happened with some of the students who were repeating the course in the short semester, they modularized the course, and it was much easier for the students. Of course, they had the advantage of having done it before. But I think if you modularize it, it's a little bit easier for them. And it was really modularized in a way in which they had the assessments after each module. And it really helped the students. It has them to both learn and get a better mark. Mastery of information is stressed, right? So information is what is critical. So sometimes you have mastery of information, not the thinking that goes behind it. So if you are teaching for problem solving and so on, you really have to deal with students very differently, right? Where you just want them to master information is different from where you want them to solve problems, and how you organize for them will be different. So we'll be doing some of these teaching methods later on for your benefit. Sally required to demonstrate. So these are some of the things that we're going to go through this quickly. All right, and then we have the cognitive. So these are, this is basic cognitive theory. Jerome Bruner, his thing was the discovery approach, where students will be assisted in grasping the structure of a theory. Everything. I like to talk about Bruner because one of the things he says